Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're at episode 313 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's trying to kill Zeus with me tonight?
I am Joe Butler, and I use the Threads of Fate time travel.
I am the warden. I am here just to basically regulate.
And what is your name?
Oh, Sierra. Sierra Joe.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And where can people find you at?
You can find me on Bias Gaming. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this.
No, you're fine. Another podcast that I'm good friends with, so definitely go check out Bias Gaming too. You'll see it. Link in the show notes at the bottom. That's where Sierra's from. And we're here to talk about God of War 2, developed by Santa Monica Studio, published by Sony, and came out in 2007.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I feel so old.
So I forgot this was 2007 because, well, my son is born in September of 2007. This game came out in March. I'm going to go my little history rant of my memories of this. So I had played this game once. I rented it from Blockbuster. Remember those places? And I only played it for a little while. I didn't get very far for some reason. I don't know why I didn't finish this. I just know I rented it. I played a little bit of it, and that was it. And I never touched this game again. I bought it on PS3 in a collection, said, hey, I'm going to get to this someday. Never did. And to this day, until about a week ago, I finally played this game. Never touched it.
Oh, I couldn't believe that. It really astonished me when you said that, too. I was like,
yeah, it's always been on my list. It's just one of those games that I've been meaning to play for almost 20 years and just never got around to it.
I'm very proud of you.
So, I mean, this was actually wasn't even my idea to play. The only reason why the first was on the show was because someone I used to talk to, and the only reason why this game's on the show is because one of the friends of the show wasn't that I don't know if able to make it. Nate had suggested it, and he wanted us to play it. That's the only reason why it happened, because this was a game that I'm just like, I didn't think about this series, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like, one was fine, but since I did play Ascension. Ascension is bleh. I played Ascension years later. One of the PS3 titles.
The commercial when it came out. That's it. I loved a good amount of it, but I loved the commercial that came out of it. That really stuck with me forever. I really was hoping they'll make a movie now. After that, whoever directed that commercial.
I mean, I think this franchise is. Well, no, I was gonna say the franchise is dead, but oh wait, never mind. We've had two God of Wars that came out in PS4 and stuff. So yeah,
still going slightly strong.
Oh yeah, very strong. I forgot about God of. Again, this is one of those series I just don't think about or have any really like much of a connection to, because as the series was going, my life had changed so much. Because in 2007, my son's born in September, so my life went that way. So I wasn't paying any attention to
the games.
Like, this is a game that slipped by.
Yeah, I totally got that.
To be fair, fun fact is that is how you should play those games anyways, because playing these back in the day and then playing the newer ones as a quote unquote older man very much hits hard in like the core.
At some point, I'll get to them. I do want to play them, but we'll see when that happens. Well, I mean, playing this did make me want to do more. Joe, what is your history with this game?
I also played this back in high school. I managed to get my grubby little fat hands on a PS2 at some point for a little bit. I think I borrowed it from a friend. I don't think I got very far. But then I replayed all of them back whenever they announced that, oh, hey, because whenever they had like the first teaser where it's like, oh, God of War is back. And I was like, oh, I never really beat that series because I never played 3. So I beat 1. It's 1 short as fuck anyways. I beat 2 for a second time. And that's why I tell people I will never recommend streaming to like the PSN or the PlayStation console ever, because those things are just janky as fuck. I played 3, and then what sucks is I played 3 and then they re-released 3 like a year later, and it's like, oh cool, I wish I had known that, because I played that also on the fucking streaming service. And then I played the PSP games too when I was younger, and then because I had to have the PSP. I only played the second one. I didn't play the first one. And then I tried playing Ascension, but same thing. Like it's like God of War 3 ended, so it's like this game kind of sucks ass. So I never played it.
It's a prequel. Ascension is the first one in the timeline.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I didn't know that. I never played 3, and I just played Ascension one time because I picked it up at a pawn store, and I was going through my PS3 library, and I'm like, this is not that great.
Yeah, it's not that great. It's it kind of feels like a deflated balloon because it's very much a prequel to everything, but then it's like I don't even think it's made by the same team either. Whenever they made, I think they did whatever Sony had rights to. They had the rights to the God of War.
Santa Monica made Ascension. They made 3, then they made Ascension 3 years later. Then they didn't make another game until 2018's God of War.
Yeah, fun fact. David Jaffe, the creator of the original trilogy, fucking hates the dude that makes the new trilogy or the new series.
Why?
He says you missed the point where like the whole point of God of War was which we'll bring up a lot in this, but the whole point of God of War is to be a massive asshole, and he's like, oh, they ruined that. But it's like, dude, you can't keep making a game like this in this day and age.
No, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about God of War, but I heard David Jaffe kind of went crazy too.
Yeah, he also kind of went crazy too. Yeah,
I know he's friends with someone who does a podcast at I point through Twitter or whatever, but I don't remember now what it was. I think you know that. And Sierra, what is your history with God of War 2?
I've been playing since I was before the second one. I was 11 when the second one came out. Maybe since I was 9 when the first one, or probably when the first one came out. I don't remember exactly who showed it to us. I think my dad just kind of got it when he got the PlayStation and everything. I just know that I loved that he was just an ass and that he was just always angry and just raging. And I was just like, thought it was so cool and how kind of gory it was. It was like the only thing my kind of mom would let me play that wasn't watching my dad play COD all the time. I mean, okay. I love Call of Duty too, but God of War just was my beyond favorite after I found it. It was just great. And it just became almost everything to me because I fell in love with Kratos. I wanted to name my child after his kid. I was in awe of like the Ascensions, only the commercial, not the game. The game was decent for me, but the commercial when it came out, it hit hard for like me because it was just that they did so good. Oh my god, if they made a movie on this actually looked good. Not a lot of the versions that we were going to see. So yeah, it's deeply embedded in my soul.
No, that's cool. I mean, I'm glad that this series means a lot to you. I mean, I wish it meant more to me. Like it's starting to. I'm getting to it at some point finally.
It was one of the games that me and my sister always played. We always referenced it. It was a very good bonding one on that too. It was just my childhood, I would say.
I'm glad. I'm always happy when I hear what games mean to people and how they affect somebody and the impact they have on someone's life. I mean, that's partly what the show is about. It has become like to hear about games, what we play and what it means to you. Like, this game came to me at a time that I kind of mentioned a little bit, like when my son was born that year, but also I was in the process of moving because when this came out, I would have still been in Wisconsin, but I moved a couple months later after I got fired on some bullshit, which was fine because I need to move anyway. But like that's probably why. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't play this game. I was too busy and upset with my life because my girlfriend was pregnant and she went back home, and I'm here in a different state and just like it is not what I planned. So yeah, it was just one of those times that those games completely slipped by, and I guess that just sticks with me. But this God of War 2 is still really good for 2024. Like I was surprised how much fun this game still is.
Oh yeah, there was so many because I wasn't able to play again because every time I tried to go play, I had to go do something. Family came, I had to get the girls or something, so I had to go through a walkthrough again to remind myself of everything. And I was all like, oh god, yeah, I remember that. Oh god, this part fucking sucked. I was like, oh god, this part was great. Just I love how it just kind of just winds and bends on certain things. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I'm just a little tired. So because when I was going through the walkthrough, because I also did the walkthrough on this one, I remember when we had to basically cut down one of the people so you can get the Rage of the Titans. I remember how fucked up. I was just like, why do we have to burn him? I mean, I get it, just let the chain go, but why? I just love how dickish it can be.
This Greek myth is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Greek myth is where that comes from.
Oh, yeah. So. They had some fucked up torture stories and lessons and the way they had to teach you the lessons, man. Oof.
They were nice people. I mean, the ancient humans are not nice people.
No.
Who would have guessed? Current humans aren't nice people a lot of times, so who would have guessed? I mean, the only part that I remembered from this game that I think is what I did play was the opening with the Colossus, which still is a really epic moment with everything with the climbing of the Colossus, and just that's a great opening to this game.
It is, but to me, it was tiring. I've played it so many times in the opening, I wanted to get farther in, and I always got stuck at the giant. And it took me forever to get past just to get into the middle.
No, I think that's completely fair. I mean, that's just, if you're playing, especially when you're a kid and you're playing a game, you're going to play the same game many, many times because, you don't only have access to so many games.
I played it on every mode as much as possible.
I mean, that's just, that's just us part of being a kid with certain games. Like, you're just going to you only have access to so much. So you're something that you're experienced so many times. You're like, I'm tired of this opening because I played it, hundreds of times. I get that. I just thought the Colossus stands out. One of my other things that always comes to mind is this game was a cover story for Game Informer back in the day. I do vaguely remember that too. I don't remember what the cover story was. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remember it was on the cover of Game Informer. I
will say this is one of the games, like PS2 wise, where I kind of enjoy the whole concept of it being, hey, we need to make a sequel, we need to make it better. Because God of War 1 is kind of like a basic bare bones kind of game. And this one goes on to way more stuff that I guess assume they wish they could have done, and a lot of other stuff that they couldn't do until they hopped onto the PS3. It's like a lot of things like in here that you see, like you have this big Colossus fight, and they kind of try to do that too, where later on you're on top of like another Titan, and you could tell that's something they really, really want to do, and eventually they do achieve that once they hit the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because you do see Kronos in this game. I mean, this game didn't have as many like Greek things as I was expecting for bosses. I was expecting more Greek shit to be in here, and it had less than I expected.
They save a lot of it for the last game in the spin-offs.
Okay.
Because off the top of my head that I remember, spoiler for the PSP game, because I think that final boss is interesting. The final boss for the first PSP game is Persephone, the
Hades.
Hades wife,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in 2, it's Thanatos, and 3, and then in God of War 3, you whoop like everyone's ass. Like there's no one left standing.
Yeah, you fucking get all of them.
The timeline is weird for this series too, because like this all the other 3 games we get. Ascension is the first one. Chains of Olympus before God of War 1. Ghost of Sparta is after God of War 1, but before God of War 2.
Yeah, it's before they crown him as the new God of War.
Okay, eventually I think I want to play more of these now, because like this game is pretty much just a third-person action game where you just brutally destroy enemies, and I mean this is a game that kind of really made a genre too, in a way, like it made a genre popular. This like action-y type thing that you have, action platformer. I mean, yes, that's been a genre forever, but there's something about the way God of War does it that really made it stand out. There's something about just the way it is.
I love you saying that, and you know I love you, Mike. I'm going to gently whoop your ass. So, I played this, right? Obviously you play this for the podcast. And it's like, okay, on to the next game for Mike's podcast. So I'm also playing Prince of Persia 3. It is such a thing with these fucking games too, where I don't know what it is, and I love that about 2000. Everything had to be fucking angry and pissed off and like all kinds of stuff. Because you play this and it's like, I'm Kratos. I'm mad that I'm no longer the God of War. Okay, I'm Prince of Persia. I'm pissed off and time traveler. Okay, Prince of Persia 3. I'm pissed off and my kingdom's being overthrown. All right. Jack and Daxter 2 and 3. I love being an adult and being angry. Oh, yeah.
I think it's just the 2000s were just a certain time. I mean, yeah, people were angry. I mean, we're still angry. But like, I don't know. I think gaming it worked. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a big part of it came from this game or from God of War 1 and just had that effect that just didn't go away.
No, we hit the mark because I think everyone was really into, because 90s is very much also the same thing where we had like Spawn was big and The Crow, and everyone was already kind of getting there. I think this is just that evolution of that to where it's more of a modernization of being an anti-hero, but I guess they pushed it a little bit further and people loved it.
We're going to take it as a doctor status. We were born from depression and now we're angry.
Yeah, this was big. Linkin Park was big. All that stuff was really, you sit in your room 12 years old and you listen to Creed and think how hard your life is. That's how it goes.
Creed, that would have been Nickelback, too.
Oh, yeah, Nickelback, too, yeah.
How
Nickelback,
you
Creed,
remind me. Yes.
big ones for me.
I still know Creed, but that stuff just sticks with you. I mean, this game, I think it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, it has some really good levels. I don't remember a whole lot of this because I beat this in 2 days, about a week ago. It was fast.
Oh, I said I hated the horses when we had to release the horses during the Sisters of Fate. Oh.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying, kind of just figuring out what I was doing.
Tedious. You just had to go through every single one and get this unlocked and then fight the general real quick and then just go, and it just kind of, to me, was tedious.
No, that was a little bit tedious. I forgot about that part. And I was also surprised you don't fight Hades or any other of the main gods. Is it Athena that you kind of kill in this?
Yeah, you end up killing Athena on accident, basically.
Okay, at the end of the game when you're trying to kill Zeus.
Yeah, they save a lot of the boss fights. You do fight other interesting boss fights, but they try to save a lot of the stuff for either the spin-offs or for the final game, because I mean it's not going to be any fun, killing them and then not having anyone for the last game. So
yeah, because you go after Hades in the final one and stuff too, and fucking Hades.
Yeah,
you go after everyone in that last game. That first game starts off with you killing off Poseidon. So
okay, because I was like that. Also, the thing that kind of surprised me in this game is I didn't realize that the whole story of this game is that, well, besides that everybody's dead, he gets killed. He tries to kill Zeus. Zeus kills him, and then now he is. Yeah, then he gets what? He tries to kill Zeus, then he goes back in time after Zeus kills him. No, who resurrects him? Well, Gaia resurrects him. And then he tries to go back to rewind time to fight Zeus and not let Zeus kill him.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
They do a really weird thing where which is even funnier because they retcon their own game, because God of War ends with Kratos becoming the new God of War, but then this game starts off with, Kratos is a much crazier god than we thought he was going to be, so we had to put a stop to him, which is weird. He's just doing his job. I mean, why are you mad about me doing my own job? But and then he goes, and I think it's not only that, he's like, well, I'm gonna take down Zeus, but then also Zeus knows Kratos is alive because he gets saved by Gaia, because I swear every God of War game involves you escaping hell.
Yeah, you literally crawl back out. I mean, at one point you fall into the river Styx, and then you're literally trying to swim and fight your way from some of the ghouls or whatever's on you, and then you had to crawl out of the pits of Tartarus and shit. I remember those.
Yeah.
Every single one, you get sent to hell and you escape. You're just fucking determined no matter what.
Man's so angry, he just can't die. He just won't die. It's hilarious.
He refuses to die.
They say in the new one, Kratos, you just won't die. Death can have me when he earns me. And it's very, very true.
Fuck yeah, he literally fights and claws his way out. Death is literally getting his fucking, what's it called? God, my brain just went blank right there.
All right, I'll come to you. I mean, I was surprised at the way that this. Cause I also liked how they do this, because since it is supposed to be a direct sequel, even though they put other stuff in front of it, or have a full life bar, powerful, and I was like, well, this is a weird way to start this game. Like, how am I going to get more powerful? And then you give all away your power away to the sword to destroy the Colossus, and I guess also just Kratos didn't want to be a god anymore, I think was a big part of it too. I'm assuming. And then he decided that he hated Zeus enough that he decided he wanted to kill. And when did he find out he was Zeus's son? Is that in this game, or is that God of War 1? I just have no memory of this.
So
go on, sorry.
Oh, it's really stupid. You find out at the end of this game that Kratos is the son of Zeus. Athena whispers it into Kratos whenever she's like, oh, it's because, Greek mythology requires everything to do it again. And they're basically like, oh yeah, Zeus was just scared of you also like usurping him or whatever, which is also a retcon in 3. But because I very specifically, like I said, I played the second one, and the second one has a lot more backstory lore, which is weird. But in the second one, it reveals that Kratos goes to go see his mom to find out where his brother went. And she also tells him that his dad is Zeus. But it's like, so if he already knew that, why is he surprised in God of War 2 then?
In which game did they say that?
Chains of Olympus.
Well, to be fair, Chains of Olympus didn't come out yet.
Yeah, but it's weird that they would oh, he already knew, but why? That doesn't change anything.
Okay, so it was in this game that he finds out, because we won't count the prequel, since the prequel is made later and doesn't. and they did something stupid. But also, to be fair, like, everybody is Zeus's son. He was fucking sleeping with everyone. He was pregnant every woman he could find.
Literally, he even did bestiality, came as a goose and a cow at one point.
I was like, isn't that surprising that you find out, like, hey, your father is Zeus? Like, he had a lot of kids. A horny bastard. So, like, it's not, I don't know, I do like it that it turns out that he is, Zeus's son. I mean, I do think that's a cool aspect of it because, like, you look at some other Zeus's children, like Hercules, for example. Like, a lot of them have some of his power. So, I mean, it's fine. Like, yes, it's a reused concept, when it comes to Greek mythology, but I don't mind it. I was also surprised that this game took away the fucking mini game from the first game.
No, it's in here somewhere.
Oh, I never found it. I mean, like, probably explore hard enough in this game, but I didn't see it, and I was surprised that there was nothing where you jump. I was wondering if there was, like, people got upset about it when they took it out.
No, they double up on it for every game. I remember that because I know the first one has one. I know you might be right. I'm 50% sure the second one has one. I know for a fact the third one has one because you very much have sex with Aphrodite. And that was the big, how do we one up the last game kind of thing.
Okay, I mean, if it's in this game, it's not in your main path because I did not run into it. I'm
trying to remember where.
It's never in your main path. That's the kind of the joke.
But it's like, I mean, I explored a little bit, but I was a little different. I don't know. I was kind of in a hurry to get through this game too, but I'm also having a really good time. Like, this is something that, like I said, I beat it in like 2 days. It just felt good to play still.
Where is it? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think does this game have subtitles?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's the other thing. That was my complaint. Now I remember. Thank you. I couldn't, because I played 2 games in a row, didn't have subtitles. That were PS2 action platformers. So, okay, that upset me. I don't like it when games don't have subtitles. Like, why did you not just put the words in? You're like, man, we're too cool for that. People, don't know how to read. We're too cool. Like, I don't understand why. Is it that hard just to put text? Put the text in there? Like, it can't be that difficult or that time consuming to just put the words that you already recorded just in text in the game. Like, it has to be a choice. It can't be like, oh, we got to save money or something.
No, this is back in the heyday when no one gave a fucking shit. What is it? I say that because
accessibility. Yeah,
no one gave a shit about accessibility. Now they do because they want everyone to play video games in house. They're gonna make money.
Subtitles are just nice. Like, yes, I'm not deaf. I can hear just fine, but I like to read because sometimes the sound isn't on or something. I'm doing multiple things, so I just want to read it. Like, I take that away from me. But I guess this is. I mean, no one's expecting me to play this on a Steam Deck in the year 2024 when this game was created. So,
I think the HD remake or the HD remaster has subtitles. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. That always bothers me in games.
Real quick. There was a sex scene in this one.
Okay.
And it was Persephone and Layla or Leda. They're in a bathtub. They're sitting down in a bathtub somewhere. I can't remember exactly how to look it up real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, there's sex scene so far, everyone so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember the first one having that mini game where you got to press circle or do things with a controller and you get orbs and stuff. So I was just kind of surprised that I think you sleep with a few women in the first game, but that was a different time.
There's like 3, I think, in the first one on the bed when you're getting going to go fight the Hydra, and then the second one is just the 2 goddesses, and then the next one is just Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also might be in the PSP games. I don't 100%.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah. PSP was getting into a different era, so we're getting into more the mid 2000s. No, it still would have been around this era, wouldn't it? I don't remember when. I didn't bother to look up when they come out. My PSP already would have been out at this time too.
Yeah,
I just remember that damn PSP commercial with the Franz Ferdinand song that that's one of my favorite commercials ever. So that song is
but this was also the heyday of like weird PSP commercials and PS2 commercials, and we also got a God of War PSP as well. I think it was gold or black and red.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. Change Olympus was 2008, so that wasn't. It was the following year after this game came out.
Interesting.
I didn't play that one years later.
I never have either. I want to now, actually. Like, I kind of want to mess around with the 2 PSP games, but I have so much shit to play. We'll see.
They're the same thing as this. They're surprisingly short and surprisingly good.
Well, they'd be minis, to be honest. So if we when and if we do them, this game added the whole flying sequences where you ride a Pegasus with flaming wings for some reason.
I don't like it that much.
It was okay. Because, I mean, the whole point of this game is that he's going to where the Sisters of Fates are, so he can rewind time and change what happened. And every God of War kind of has the aspect. I don't remember in God of War 1, was he trying to get, Pandora's box? What was he trying to get?
Trying to get Pandora's box to defeat Ares.
Every God of War, I only played 2 games, but so far the 2 God of War games I played, he's doing the same thing, trying to go get an item to change fate. That's a Greek item. I mean, it's cool. I mean, but no, the flying thing is just it's okay. It wasn't what I wanted, but it does break up the combat. It does break up the game. So I can't be upset at them including it because they're like, hey, we want to give you something else. We want to do something new that we didn't do in the first game.
So
I just got confused on how to, because I have a problem with trying to do some of those flying games sometimes. And that was just me personally, because I had to do that part like 100 different times. I kept fucking failing out that one. That's personally me why I couldn't stand it.
Well, no, I mean, it's also the controls are reversed because you're flying, and I don't like that in games. I mean, I get the concept of it, because if you fly a plane, but I'm not flying a plane. It's not a real plane. I'm in a video game. Let me reverse my controls.
You can change that.
Okay.
Mario would have to change it for me on certain things like that, too. I don't remember how to go through the controls to do it.
So, Mike, you're telling me in every God of War game, you go through the game to get an item, and you get other items throughout your journey to help you, right?
I guess, sure.
Yeah.
Like many games.
And you can use those items to go back and get other items at certain points as well, almost like a Metroidvania.
No.
Yes, God of Wars are basically just Metroidvanias.
Bullshit.
I disagree. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but you don't go back to places that you've been to before to open up doors that you couldn't open before, access areas. That's what makes a Metroidvania. And to me, part of it also is the map system and that style of play. Because you don't have to revisit anything in this game. I don't think you even can.
There's certain points where you can't go back, but if you want to, you can revisit them because of items and stuff like that. I say that because there's a part where there's like a door that's shooting out like a fireball, and you don't know how to get it, and then later on you get the golden fleece, and you go back to that door to open it, and it continues you forward. So
that doesn't qualify as Metroidvania. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but no, it's not enough to fit that type of genre.
It doesn't. The newer ones do. Newer ones very much do, where you get items and you go back and you can go back to way early on areas and find stuff. But
this is a very it's a pretty straightforward game. I mean, yes, you do a couple times end up in the same areas as your when you get like you said, the golden fleece, you get a couple keys, but the game really just leads you to where you need to go. You don't have to remember, how do I get here, and then run through a whole thing. It just kind of takes you where you need to go.
Yeah.
Also, I also very much forgot how early on in this game you fight. I think what's essentially I call like the big trailer boss, which is the guy that kills Kratos, or the guy that almost killed Kratos, and the reason why he has like the chains. You fight him like super early on in this, and I'm like, I always thought this boss fight was like in the middle of the game.
Oh, which boss fight?
The guy who you originally killed and talked to Ares for in the first one, he shows up again in this one.
Yeah, he's a big hammer. You get the hammer from him.
Oh, the barbarian that you killed in the flashback.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's cool that they bring him back to life, essentially, and he's like, I hate you! Like, you have a right to hate me.
I love the fact that all the games have people that you have wronged, and then along the line you end up seeing them again, and then you wrong them again.
That poor guy.
Not a good person.
The first one in the Hydra where he eats the guy in the Hydra, and then later on you see him in hell again, and then you drop him down into the river Styx.
He's not a good person.
No.
Like, I do appreciate the thing with like where you run into Prometheus. I did appreciate how they have that from Greek myth. I mean, that's such a terrible, like, he gave humans fire, so now part of his body gets eaten every single day, or everything. It just keeps getting continually eaten by a bird, and then he won't die. Like, I like the Hercules TV show version of it with Kevin Sorbo, where he's just frozen solid. I used to like Kevin Sorbo a lot. Used to, but
he's also the other boss for Hades too. Ooh.
Oh, I need to play Hades, that game someday.
Hades 1 you fight Hades, Hades 2 you fight Kronos, but there's a new double option where you can go to below down to Hades or the underworld, or you go above, which I think you go up to Mount Olympus because there's a big war going on. And they had to where whenever you did both, you would fight Kronos, but they changed it now to where if you go down in the underworld, you fight Kronos. But if you go to Mount Olympus, you fight what the fuck is his name?
I don't. Zeus?
We just talking about him.
Poseidon? We talked about a lot of gods, by the way.
Liver being eaten.
Oh, Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus. You fight Prometheus on
Okay.
Mount Olympus. Yeah.
Not a god, but legendary figure from Greek myth. Okay. I mean, the game does a decent job with like giving you different abilities so you don't get too bored because you do get different sub-weapons throughout the game pretty decently. I also want to say I was never bored in this game throughout my whole playthrough. I just had a great time and the game just kept going. Like there was never a point where I'm like, hey, this game sucks. Like there was nothing of that. There was never a point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this game to end now. Like I just had fun. And that's nice. That's a nice feeling when you play a game that isn't too bloated.
This game pissed me off twice.
Oh, why?
It's PS2 game and then emulator, so it's not completely the game's fault. The first one was the very first boss fight where you fight the big statue and you had to pump your power into the sword. I don't know if it was because I was getting hit a weird way or something, but if I did something weird, I could not dump my powers into the sword. Like if I try to do it to the sword and I got hit, what is it? I got hit while trying to pump my power in the sword. I couldn't do it anymore. Like the game would not give me the quick time event.
Oh, that might have been the ROM, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was the ROM. So I won't blame the game for that. The other one, though, it's the ending where who is it that you kill?
Zeus?
No, I don't remember who you kill, but you're about to go up to, or you kill the first two sisters, and you have to do a gauntlet to get to the last sister to get to that big door. And I got to the I got to the door, I died, and it sets you all the way back, and I kept getting stuck at the Medusas where they would turn you to stone and then kill you from the stone, and then it would also turn you back. And I'm like, I don't, because as much as it's a emulator, I don't like to use save states. It's the only time I use save states this whole fucking game.
Yeah, that's just PS2 bullshit, is what that is. That's the game. That's not the emulator in this case. I did have one glitch in this game where, not a glitch. It was a bad ROM, because this game's a 2-disc game. But the way that the ROM does it is all just one disc for some reason. I don't know if this game was 2 discs put in one or something, because there's something different about the way they did God of War 2, but also it was really late PS2, so they were able to do different things. The ROM that I did first have, you got to a point where when Icarus is supposed to... Is it Icarus? Or who's the wing guy? Okay. When he shows up, it didn't play. Like, I would run on the bridge, the sound would stop, and nothing would happen. You could see him below the bridge, but he would never come up, and the cutscene would never start. And I was like, oh no, am I going to have to play this now on the PS3 and replay everything I've already done because it's halfway through the game? And luckily, thanks to Reddit, there's always Reddit post somewhere out there where somebody answers your question, and the guy's like, no, that's a bad ROM. Here's the one that you want that has the complete game. So that's how I finished this. But that wasn't the game's fault. That was just me not playing this the way I should be. But that's because I wanted to play it on a Steam Deck, and I cannot buy this on Steam. So now, Sony, if you want to put the God of War collection on Steam, I would have bought it at some point for $5 on sale. I would have.
Them all on DVD on a collection with all 3, and then I have Ascensions on its own, and then the 2 in between ones on DVD for PlayStation.
For PS3, I own the God of War Origins collection. I own the God of War collection, which is 1 and 2, and then I own the 5-pack collection too with all of them, and I have God of War 3. So I was like, I bought this game enough, Sony. Like, it's okay. I just didn't want to play on PS3 because PS3 means I'm shackled to my TV in the basement where I can put this on a Steam Deck, and then I'm not shackled to anything. So my wife's like, hey, I gotta go, take me here, and if I have to drop her, I have to like wait for her, I can just pull out the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Like, it's convenience, and that convenience wins all the time, even though, yes, it would have been, look better on the PS3, but convenience and save states. I didn't need them in this playthrough, but I like them being there.
Yeah, totally get that.
I just like to have the ability, because when I don't have save states and I know I have to do something legit, there's been a couple games where I've questioned whether it was going to happen or not. It happened, but I questioned it, because I'm decent at video games. Like Bloodborne, I was worried that wouldn't happen. That did.
Ooh. Where you forgot to save, or?
No, I didn't think I'd be good enough to get through a fight.
Okay, yeah.
Or I can't cheat.
Oh, no, I know for a fact I'm not good enough to get through certain things quick like that, and so... like, I love video games, but I'm not, like, the best at certain ones, but I'll play it to my heart's content.
then you don't want to start a podcast where you try to beat a game every single week, sometimes 2 because you're insane. Yeah, that's an insane level.
I'm doing different subjects. That's why I didn't started my Warden's Hostile Wrath Takeover. I said it weird right now, but I'm trying to subjects that I would talk about, and he did the video games because I can't do the video games constantly like that. I'll do games that I know. But
nobody can do what I do. No one should either. That's why this show now has a rotating cast of people who come and go for what they want to talk about. Because I can never have a strict co-host, because when I did that, like, I can't ask somebody to do what I do. Again, it's too much.
I mean, like, if I could, I would. I love video games. I play a lot. My mom thinks already stuff that I play is a lot, and I'm just like, no, woman. I am not the monsters out there. There are people 10 times worse than us.
As long as you're having fun and you're not neglecting whatever your responsibilities are as an adult, I think video games are a wonderful thing. People just, like, everyone, I mean, throughout history, we always have different things. People playing video games, like, people had newspapers. People read, like, I was looking at their cell phone. You'll see a picture of everybody reading the newspapers. Like, what are you supposed to do when you're idly waiting for something? If you're, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, there's always been some kind of pastime that everybody gets mad about. That, oh my God, you're reading too much. You need to be part of this. Or, oh my God, you're on your phone too much now. Oh my God, you're going in. I can't even think of anything else right now.
No, it's a lot of stuff like that. Like, when me and my wife go out to dinner, there's a lot of times where I'll be playing on we'll both be playing on our phone. Be like, oh, look at this. Like, yeah, we live together. We talk all the time. Like, this isn't a date. She's hungry and she's happy that we're out together. I'm like, I'll talk to her and all we do is talk. Like, I don't need to sit here and talk. We live together.
We sit there, we get on our phone, but we sit and play chess with each other. So when we're sitting waiting, we'll talk a little bit, or if anything, we'll do our own thing, and then we're playing a game of chess together.
Okay, that's cute, actually.
That is cute. So, earlier comment, you talked about how much you like Kratos, and I want to say, am I going to see a picture at some point Mario bald with red paint going down his face?
If I could, I would. Oh my God! Now that's what I want him to do. Is I'm gonna make. Oh my God!
Sorry, Mario. If you hear this, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna make him make the fucking Blades of Chaos, dude. That would be so sick.
He can make. I've seen some stuff he made. He can make the Blades of Chaos. Then he just got to shave his head and get a small outfit going for Kratos, and he'll be good to go.
This would be great.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God! And then I could dress up as what? I could dress up as Aphrodite. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, babe.
He'll hear this at some point. I look forward to it. I do want to say, like, the scale of this game, you do feel like you are in front of the Titans. You do feel very small, and they do feel massive, which is nice. It's the way it should be. It is good having all the Titans get involved, because the Titans hate Zeus, and it does connect well. Like, the first game, you're just against Ares. This game, you're recruiting the Titans eventually.
He's like a kid throwing a tantrum and going to get the grandparents. Grandma, Daddy did this. That's all I can see.
That's fair. He did murder them all. I mean, he did see away all the Titans, so it's fair. I mean, it takes you a while to get to the island of the Fates. You do fight. I think you fight Perseus, right? Isn't that the hero that you kill at one point?
Yes.
I think it was Perseus. I like Perseus a lot from the Greek myth when I was a kid, and because he's the one that kills Medusa, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Okay, and it's been when I was a kid, I loved Greek myths so much. I remember having a big yellow book that had all these different Greek myths. Like, they were a little bit children size, but they were all these Greek myths. And I remember I'd colored in the pictures over the years, and I just loved this book. It's still in my parents' house somewhere. I'm sure of it. But
I remember having Zeus's children in all the stories of how he created each one. That's how I knew which.
I think Greek myth is great. I think it's just really entertaining stuff to follow. And I mean, that's another reason why this series became so big, is that it followed Greek myth and it works well, and you get to kill legendary figures from myth and stories, and it works well. I mean, it's fun.
Greek mythology has so many melodrama stories that you can do so much with it. I mean, technically, they still are. There's so many different variations of one story or just this story. There's so many stories people haven't even heard of still. I mean, not even just Zeus's kids. We're talking about just like even Poseidon's side or just Hades' side or certain things too.
I was a little let down. This game doesn't have Hades or Poseidon that you have to fight because I felt like that would have made more sense for the end of this game instead of Zeus. But like Joe had said earlier, I guess that's all in 3 then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean they did a little bit.
I was gonna say they kind of tease why at the end of this too. Whenever Athena dies, she kind of lets out this big green blast. So I kind of see. I know why technically they save it. I don't know if you remember, Mike. Because basically they are technically the gods. So whenever you kill them, something happens. So I'm not really entirely sure what happens when they kill Athena, but like in 3 they reveal like, oh, whenever like Poseidon gets killed, there's no one controlling the ocean, so the ocean rises, and then like yeah, I think whenever you kill Hermes, like a bunch of locusts like shoot out of his body. So they basically want you killing the gods to have a really heavy impact, and that's why they save all of them for the last game.
I was just surprised that plus the PS3 was on. Well, I mean, at this point, the PS3 is not far off when this game comes out. So like they knew what was coming. So I get it too. It just to me it felt like because I knew Zeus. You don't kill Zeus in this. You fight him. But I was like, why have Zeus in this game when you're going to have him in 3? But then again, maybe they didn't know what was all coming if they were going to get there. So they're like, fuck it, we're going to do this. But I'm assuming this game was a plan. Like they knew they were getting a sequel.
Oh yeah.
God of War 1 ends where like you can kind of like it could end right there, but I feel like with God of War 2, like with this game, they knew more was coming. Like they knew they were going to be greenlit for 3.
Oh, they knew they were planned for more. Did anyone see my favorite God of War fact that is fucking hilarious? And they still might end up happening. Did y'all see the paintings that are in the Sisters of Fate? Like there's a tower and there's a bunch of paintings on the wall. You can actually read.
Pay any attention to them.
So there's one I believe that's supposed to be signified that someone's going to kill God of War. There's a second painting that that shows someone starting a war, and then there's a third painting that shows three men going towards the star. And David, which we talked about a little bit earlier, David Jaffe very much is a fucking weirdo. And the original concept was supposed to, because I think Ascension actually fucked it up because Ascension ended up doing badly, that they were like, no more God of Wars. God of War was originally supposed to end with Kratos, the God of War from Norse mythology, and the God of War for Egyptian mythology were supposed to be the 3 wise men. And the original concept was that the God of War games were supposed to keep going, which they still are, where you would kill every god, and the only god that would exist would be Jesus.
No way that's going to happen. No, I wouldn't be against it. I think it would be funny as hell, but the way that America is, and America being one of the big places you need to sell in, I don't see that happening anytime soon because religion and government are a little bit too together at the moment. I like that concept, but also David Jaffe's crazy, I think, right?
Yeah, he is crazy. Yeah, he's very much upset that what Kratos has become. He's like he should have stayed like a big anti-hero. And people are like, no, God of War, where the series ends currently is enough of a send off to where I think even fans are satisfied. If we got more, we'd be fine, but if we didn't, we'd be fine too.
Oh, you don't think we're gonna get another one to wrap up the Norse stuff?
Norse stuff ends.
Oh, then okay.
Yeah, the guy that made the newer ones, he's like, I really wanted to make a trilogy, but see people complaining about how long it takes, because it's true too. AAA games take forever to make, and he's like, I don't want everyone to wait another 10 years for a finale. So God of War 2 Ragnarok is the end of that. Oh,
okay.
Story. Yeah. What was the other one? There's also, I don't know if it's it's in a DVD or something for either for this one or for one. There's also a scene of the big Titan where he has the building on his back where you get Pandora's box from.
Yeah.
There's
Chronos.
Is it Chronos?
I don't remember.
There's a scene where you can sit where it's Gaia talking, and they're like, you can even say that Chronos is still wandering the desert even to this day, and it zooms out, and there's a bunch of Black Hawk helicopters going around it. And so people thought we were going to get a modern day God of War 2, but that ended up going nowhere too, and I'm glad it didn't, because that would have been really fucking stupid.
I don't think modern day would work.
It wouldn't. It works for Castlevania.
I haven't played that one yet. One day I need to get to it.
It's hella goofy.
Games can't.
But kind of like what I was saying before, like this game and this series did, inspire like Castlevania Lords of... God, what the fuck is it called?
Lords of Shadow?
Lords of Shadow is what, when it came out was called a God of War ripoff. It's not. But like that, this did really make a genre in itself, that action type genre.
Also,
Okay.
as much as we don't talk about it, I love the quick time events in this game. Because like I know people say that.
Good.
Yeah, I know people say that we got sick of them. I wish they would come back. I miss quick time events. They make cutscenes feel like way more cooler.
The problem is they became overused and they became annoying. This game, there isn't too many of them, and they felt good in this game. Like, I liked them. I didn't have a problem with them. I also had save states, so if I really had a problem, that was okay. But, like, it's just that everybody did it in this era and into 360 era, and then that's why it went away, because it was overused. And it was used in bad ways, and then the general public got upset. But no, I enjoyed the quick time events in here. I actually didn't even mind like you kill a Minotaur and you have to tap, circle a whole bunch. Like, none of that was bad to me, actually. Like, it all felt good.
I liked some of them. After a certain time, it got a little tedious, but
This game
some of
wasn't
them were-
long enough for me to get tedious, actually. But you played this more than once, so.
I played it in every single one so many times.
I think that plays a big part in it too. You see, where I haven't really, I do play a lot of PS2 games on this podcast, but they're usually not next to each other, and they're usually far enough away that I don't have quick time events constantly, so I forget, just like Joe said, I kind of forget about them. So I'm like, oh, cool, here they are again, and then I don't mind them, because I'm not, it's just that when every game at the time was doing it, I get why they went away. RE4, yeah. I'll never forget when when you first see Krauser and I was eating chicken, and I died because I was eating chicken, and the button came up. I was like, what? This is a cutscene, not I'm trying to eat chicken.
Goddamn, Mike, there's very specifically a walkthrough that talks about that from back in the day. How the hell did you miss that?
Because I was playing the game the day it came out, pretty much.
That's fair then, okay.
I actually bought RE4 the day it came out, and then I was playing it early then. That was a different time. That Mike didn't cheat like this Mike does, because that Mike was in high school and had time. This Mike doesn't have time. I got a wife, I got a son, I got a job, I got a podcast. I don't got time.
Cool.
Takes a lot of balancing, by the way, to do this.
I bet.
I'm good at it, but it takes a lot of balancing. So the Sister of Fates, like, you do fight all three. I like the two that you fight that are like Valkyries. I think that's a fun fight, with the ones coming out of the mirror, and then you eventually gotta, like, seal her in the mirror. I didn't care for the third one, the big like, fat sister thing that you have to fight and climb up. Like, I didn't really care for that puzzle. You gotta pull the levers and then stab her arms. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it just was kind of creepy to me.
Yeah, it was a little too much. Like, you didn't need to do this. Like, you didn't need to make this character so grotesque, and like it feels like 2007. It feels like that era of like I didn't need, like, we don't need this. Like, don't do this. I get what you're going for, but don't do it.
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yes. But I mean, I do like it how, he's had to get the mirror and then he goes back in time. I think all that's a pretty cool set piece. I didn't have a problem with it.
Pulling the chain, like you were actually pulling time, the way you had to go back inch for it. Yeah, I loved it. I liked it. It was pretty cool. I like how they did it. Just how you could just kind of walk right through it and just be there instead of having to do any extra. Because what I fucking raged if you had to do more just to get through the fucking mirror, because sometimes that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like,
and doesn't he go back in time twice? He goes back in time, and I think, does he kill Zeus? Then he goes back in time again? No, he tries to kill Zeus and he kills Athena, right? Then he goes back in time, or what was it?
He goes back to save Athena after where he makes the first mistake.
Okay. But he's not able to save her, is he?
No.
No, because she sacrifices herself to save Zeus. That was the whole thing. Because after she does that, she goes into a higher set of being after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is one of those games that is just, you forget stuff.
Yeah, I had to kind of stop and think about that for a second, too. Yeah.
I was going to say, anything else that you guys want to mention? I think we're kind of running out of stuff to say about this game.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so like the ending of this game, after you kill Athena and you fight Zeus and everything, he ends up, the last thing you see him is charging towards Olympus with the Titans following him, which is setting up 3, because 3, like you said, Joe, 3 is him killing all the gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because basically he started the war right after accidentally killing her.
It was kind of sad seeing her die, because didn't she help you in God of War 1 a whole bunch? If I remember correctly.
She basically helped out the whole thing.
Okay, I forget. Like, I get Athena and Artemis confused a lot. But isn't Artemis a lower god than Athena? I can't.
Yes, technically, yes and no. She also is the daughter of Zeus, too, but Athena is, like, she was literally born from him because she put him in, when she was, like, embryo.
The one in his brain?
in his head, and after so many years, she like literally put her hands through it and ripped out of his skull. There is another one. There's another one of his children that he had that was like that. That was in his thigh, and that was his son.
It was the god of wine. It was
Dionysius.
Dionysus. Yeah.
Dionysus, yes.
Yeah, but
It was God of wine times.
the idea, which I think is what it is too, is that Athena is supposed to be the goddess of knowledge. I think is what it is. So her.
That is the wisdom and strategy.
Yeah, so her whole idea was that she knew that Ares was going crazy, so it was her idea to get Kratos to kill him. So that's kind of why they're connected, because technically she's the one who believed in him, and that's kind of why he's like, oh, I owe Athena at least one thing.
That's exactly why she says in the beginning, when you go and you basically, when you got all high and mighty and everything, she's all like, I made you, and he's, I made myself kind of thing. She was the one who put him there. She was the one who made him a god of war. Just because he's the son of Zeus didn't make him what he was. He killed Ares, and then they gave him that position. And if it wasn't for her leading him to what he needed, the Pandora's box and the blade and everything, he wouldn't have been able to do most of that. So
it's a cool ending. It definitely got me excited for 3. Like, I could have cared less about playing 3, but after playing this, I'm kind of interested now.
3 is great.
3 is great. I was gonna say I'm a little bit confused. I got a little bit confused too with Final Boss, because I did play, if anything, back whenever I talked about how I replayed all of them before the new one came out. I played them back to back. I remember that. Yeah, I remember it. Well, I can do that. I actually don't mind doing that, which is funny. I remember this boss fight being differently, but that's because I remember it being a lot cooler. And I'm like, oh, I'm remembering the final boss fight with Zeus for God of War 3. That's why that boss fight's a lot cooler.
Yeah.
I just can't play games. Ever since I did Uncharted all 3 together when I was getting back into gaming, I was so upset with myself, I'll never do it again. So, I can't. There's just something about playing the same series back to back that upsets me now. That's why I do this podcast. Doesn't happen.
It's you need a break in between just to be able to kind of cleanse your palate if you're like eating something the same too much. It's almost the same thing. You're going to get tired of it after a good minute or so. I mean, I kind of did the same thing. I was playing the Uncharted games with my aunt, and we got through 2 of them, and halfway through the 3rd one, and I just got done, and I haven't finished the 3rd one yet.
Also, 3 is not as good as 2, but 3 is still good. I need to replay 3 again. You can skip 1. 1 has a good story, but there's parts about 1 that do not age well in playability, not context, it's playability.
When me and my aunt were playing it, she was like, did he really just say that? And I was like, yeah.
I don't remember anything racist or anything problematic. I just remember the gameplay. There's a couple of parts in that game that are awful.
Sal would sit there and say not sexist things, but certain things that just kind of was like, excuse me? Like, what? Just a little like, what? That's it. But nothing like made. Yeah, some of the gameplay was also too like, excuse me?
It's the final boss fight is really bad from what I remember, and it took me multiple tries when I replayed it. So yeah, no, I'm actually interested now at some point to play God of War 3, maybe 25. I mean, we're recording this in 2024. You'll hear this in the beginning of 2025, but maybe it will come out. Maybe I'll do God of War. I don't know. I'm more interested than I ever was before, but we'll see if that happens or not.
If you do number 3, I'm so down to be on there with you. Just don't let Mario tell you about Hades on my part. That's it.
Hades the game or Hades the person?
No, the person in God of War 3, because he likes to constantly tell the story about how he had to beat Hades for me, and I never beat Hades, technically, and he likes to just go on and on.
Okay.
So
don't invite him to what you're telling me.
Basically, yeah, he's not allowed to talk about it.
Honestly, some of these...
Just saying that he says it every time, sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say a lot of these games are kind of hard anyways, and it goes into the whole like PS2 concept. I forgot what we were recording. I think we were waiting for something, but like some of these puzzles are very much like, oh yeah, they're made to kind of stump you so you don't beat the game faster, because like what is it that there's that puzzle where like the room has spikes coming up and you have to like hit a wall and then use the stone behind the wall to stop time, and then like
there's the river one.
Yeah, the river one.
You have to put a dead body on the river. I mean, you find a dead body in a room, put it on the river, then it comes to the other side of the room, so then you can put it on a Switch. There were a couple things that I would not have put 2 and 2 together had without a guide, like not quickly. There's not only to drop it, you had to hit the floating bodies and the one will not get destroyed, and you can take that and use it as a Switch.
Some of it you do have to think out of the box a little bit.
Mhm.
I just don't like puzzles.
I love puzzles. One of my favorite part of these games were.
And a lot of people are. I'm just weird like that.
I think that's the reason why I got mad for when the new ones came out, because I was like, where are the puzzles? Where is the nostalgic moments in these? Why? But then I kind of played it a little bit and got used to it. I just don't know about the open world concept for me. That's why I couldn't barely finish the new one.
Oh no, it's okay.
I'm not Ragnarok. I haven't even played that one yet.
Oh, it's okay, Sierra. I completely don't blame you. I will tell you exactly. There's too much shit going on, and open world concepts are so weird because I'm very much burnt out on them currently. There's literally a segment in God of War where you in the new one, the Ragnarok, where you do something and like a whole new area opens up, and it's like we could explore this new area, or we could go fight what is essentially the final area of the game, and it's like. God of War Ragnarok, I've been playing you for 50 hours. I am tired. I am not exploring this whole other fucking area. I'm going to go
that long?
Yeah. The second one's not. The first one's not bad. The God of War 2018 is not too bad. I want to say it's probably a good chunk of like 30 hours. But Ragnarok's long as fuck if you explore everything.
Oh.
God.
23, 40 for main and extra. Okay, that's a bit.
Yeah, okay.
Damn.
I was probably 30 hours in, and I was like, they're like, oh, there's a whole other area you can do. And I'm like, no, I have other things to play. Do not do this to me.
God.
I also didn't realize that the 2 PSP games come out before we even get God of War 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because God of War Change of Olympus comes out in 2008. I'm guessing Ghost of Sparta must be 2009. And 2010, we get God of War 3.
Huh.
So, yeah. But no, I'm interested now to play God of War 3. Like, I actually, for the first time in my life, even though I own multiple copies of that game, I actually give a shit about it. So,
You're
even though
gonna have puzzles in that one.
at some point I will. I said I can't emulate that one. I'll have to play it on the PS3. Actually, why isn't this on Steam? Come on,
I don't
Sony.
know.
Well, I know why. Because Sony, but
Sony has slowly stopped giving a shit. I mean, both the new God of War games are on Steam.
yeah, but like I want their old collections to be on Steam so I can get them for $5.
They will be. The what is it? I think I told you about this before. There's a big rumor that we're supposed to be getting a full, not a full like remaster, but like a HD remaster of 1, 2, and 3 for the PS5 and for PC. I don't know how true it is. I don't know how true it is, but I've been hearing a rumor about it recently.
I think that'd be good. Like I'm always a big component of let people have access to games and let people enjoy them. And by access, I mean let them buy them on different consoles and different times, because just because it's old doesn't mean somebody won't have a good time with it.
But yeah, you should see Mario when he was able to get a few of the older games he's played. Oh my god, I never seen that man more giddy than anything. You literally was sitting there like either just squealing or just, look at this. And I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, it's pretty cool. We got games that I played back in the day, a couple games that he played back in the day. We got our daughter to kind of play some, but it's nice to
I get it. All right. I think we should go on to questions, comments, and memories. I got a couple. I only posted in 2 groups because I didn't know I didn't have any God of War groups to post this in, so I just posted in 2 of my main ones. From the official Laser Time community, from Vincent Goodwin, friend of the show. The only time I ever played God of War 2 was at E3 2006. I remember thinking, this looks really great for PS2, but Xbox 360 is already out and PS3 will be out in 6 months. Yeah. And from Chris Litchos, 2 is a big step up in terms of gameplay, scope, level design, etc. A really great swan song for the PS2. I actually preferred it to 3 at the time, despite 3 being one of the most jaw-dropping experiences I've ever had. Right, and then from the I Walk the Empire or Blood Super Replay group, from Sam Carden, God of War 3 might be my favorite game. It's insane. And from Charles Bells, I still wonder if they had any sequels planned for God of War 1 from the start, based on how it ended. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say they didn't, well, maybe they had idea, but again, they didn't know if they were going to be greenlit or not, so they were smart enough not to shoehorn something in and then have it, never happen.
kind of the hope and really just kind of hoping that it would.
Yeah, and I prefer that because, too many things that come out now will be like, oh, hey, look, we got stuff ready for the sequel, like, and then nothing happens. Like, sometimes it's better just to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mindset on that. Like, you don't know, don't leave it open. Just wrap up your story, put something there that could be another one, but don't leave it like you're for sure going to get a sequel because you just unless they sign on the dotted line. Even then, you might not get a sequel.
So
movies and games have taught us that.
My technical theory, which is fair, I think they weren't planning to make more after the first one. I think they got greenlit for 2 and 3 because two obviously has stuff that they can't do that they do take on to 3, like I said, like the big boss fights. And I don't think they would have ended 2 the way they would have if they didn't know. I think 2 did so well that's the reason why we got the PSP games as well, because they're like, holy shit, yeah. I do think 3 did really well, and I think Ascension fucked up us getting what would have been a newer trilogy. Because, like I said, they had a plan for another trilogy, and I think Ascension completely threw all that out the fucking window, and that's why we didn't get any more until like 2018.
Yeah, I think Ascension I think people were just kind of tired of it at that point too, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And God of War Ascension doesn't look that great or anything. Like, it's just kind of, I played it, I was like, okay. It's also a shorter game. Like, when it comes to hours, God of War Ascension is shorter than God of War 3, 1, and 2.
You know why, right?
No.
Multiplayer.
Oh my god, it was that bullshit time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Ascension has multiplayer where you can play as 4 different quote unquote heroes that they were just nameless heroes, and you would pick a like god designee. So like in this one, how you had like 4 powers, you could pick one of those 4 powers to use, and then you could also use weapons. So like from God of War, like 1, 2, and 3. So like the hammer was there, the big sword from Artemis from 1 was also there.
There was a thing where everything had to have multiplayer that didn't deserve it just because.
Yep.
And that was that era.
I never touched it. I refused to even touch it at that point.
It was fine. I played it once. It's fine. I might do it again someday. I mean, I don't know how much we'll do a God of War on this show because I had no plan to even do this game. Just kind of, I didn't even plan to do the first one. The first one was a favor to someone that I don't talk to anymore, unfortunately. But like, I'm happy I did too. I mean, I'm happy that Nate unfortunately wasn't able to be here, but convinced me to play this game. Like, I'm very happy for that.
I'm happy that he made you play.
Well, sometimes this takes, like, I'm trying to do more suggestions from people and play games where people are like, hey, this is a good game, play it. Like, I wouldn't, maybe, after I play God of War 3 someday and play the 2 PSP ones and then touch Ascension, maybe I'll have more fun with it. I just remember not caring for it a whole bunch, but now I'm watching a review of it, and it does look kind of cool, and knowing that it's short, it might not be so bad. 8-9 hour game I can beat in like 2 days. Like, I'm not gonna be so bad. We'll see. It also kind of depends on how well episodes do is what drives me to do more. So if people really like a certain game that we cover, that pushes me to do more of those sequels sometimes. But I mean, I do whatever the fuck I want. So it just depends on what I want to play. But it does make me more interested. All right, a couple more comments to read from Steve Lusiter. The entire series is pretty fantastic. It really never loses its grip on what it is and moves flawlessly from game to game. If I had one gripe, it's that I don't recall as much about God of War 1 and 2 as I do 3, because 3 had the much grander scale and way more memorable boss fights. I remember the opening scene in God of War 2 with the Colossus being pretty badass and thought the Harry Hamlin cameo as Perseus was a great touch. I have no idea who Harry Hamlin is.
I don't either.
All right. From Nick Levac, I've only played 2018, but I meant to go back to the original trilogy. Think 1, 2, and maybe Ascension are only available via streaming on PS5. Nuts, the whole trilogy hasn't had native ports. Think only 3 got a remaster for PS4. Again, Sony, I get it. That's not as simple as like, just port it. Like, but this is something that people would buy.
Mike, you're a fucking liar. They were just talking about how they couldn't port stuff, and they put Dino Crisis and the original Resident Evil on the PS5.
I don't think it's as simple as that, though. But I mean, like, because I don't understand game design, so I don't want to be like, oh, you can just, you just copy paste. Like, I don't want to be like that guy. But it's not impossible. Yeah. That's what I mean. It costs some money. But it's kind of just, I think it's also like when it comes to certain companies, like they just kind of want to forget their previous stuff and just worry about the next big thing that's going to make them millions upon millions instead of re-release something that will sell and make profit, but not the millions upon millions that they want.
Yeah.
I think that's also a big problem is that everyone's trying to find that big thing that's going to sell, and make them billionaires. All right, from Quentin Crow, would love some indie AA games like old school God of War, but hey, they would 100% make it a Souls-like. Sigh. He's not wrong. They would nowadays. I'm watching a review of Ascension while we're talking. Ascension does look a lot better than I remember.
It looks a lot better. You just think it looks weird because it's It's not the same graphics as God of War 3. It's a very different engine, but it's there. It looks good, but it looks different.
Some point. And then last comment from Jesse Whitley, 3 is great. Because I mentioned how I hadn't played 3 yet. So, all right, and that's all the comments I have. And we should give away a code before we go to our shelf stack. Let's see what I got for a code. I'm still getting rid of codes. All right, this code is for Glitch Busters Stuck on You. No idea what this is. Steam code. The code is QCZ000Z4ZWC489Y. That is your code for Glitch Busters Stuck on You. All right, I have so many random codes. Feels good to get rid of them. And it looks like we have a last-minute god joining us to talk. And who's with me?
Nate, to talk about Ares.
I mean, you can. He's not in this game, but so unfortunately you weren't able to make the main recording. But I wanted to get you in before we wrapped this whole thing up. Because God of War 2, I know I said during the episode, that was all mainly because you drew me to it, and I felt bad that you couldn't make it.
Yeah, I felt bad I couldn't make it either. But curse a stomach bug, man. God of War 2 is so good, and the last time I played it was in 2018 before the God of War PS4 came out, and just replaying it, I was like, yeah, it's one of the best action games I think I've ever played. Like, it just starts off with that Colossus fight, and it just does not let up.
I was surprised how good it is still.
Yeah, and like I hadn't replayed it ever. Like the first time I played it was I was in high school. I think I was in 10th or 11th grade, and that was the first time I played it. And the PS3 had already been out. I don't think God of War 3 was out at the time though. But yeah,
what drew you to God of War 2? Did you play the first one already at this point?
Oh yeah, my older brother talked about how good God of War 1 was. So after I got a job, I bought a used PS2 at GameStop and God of War 1, and then blazed through God of War 1 and went and bought God of War 2 like the next paycheck because I was like, that was great.
Well, that's fair. At least you played it. I didn't, as I said earlier in the episode, I didn't touch this until last week. Like really. So it was one of the ones that I somehow just skipped completely.
Do you know the story? Like, do you know where 3 ends off?
No. I know nothing about 3 other than you fight Zeus. So.
3 is going to be really good when you get to it. When I finally got to it, I was very satisfying conclusion.
I am tempted now to want to play it where, like, before, because we did God of War 1 last year as a favor to a friend of mine, and I wasn't going to do God of War 2. Like, I was just like, whatever. And I think you missed an episode or something that happened where I felt bad. I'm like, I'll put God of War 2 on the schedule at the end of the year. But I'm glad you got me to finally play this game after all these years.
It's really good. And I got the platinum in it.
Oh, of course you did.
Which was not hard, because after we did God of War 1, I jumped into 2 and like started to replay it and then held off. And I was like, I'm going to do that little challenge of the gods fight, because that was the worst part of God of War 1's platinum, is the like arena. I forget what they're called. I think it's called Challenge of the Gods. And then in 2, it's Challenge of the Titans. But like there are 10 challenges that are really difficult. And in 2, they're a lot easier than 1 because you can take breaks.
Oh,
so
yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I did that, and then I was like, I'll save the platinum for when Mike goes, let's put God of War 2 on the show.
Yeah, it was thanks to you. You finally convinced me to play this game, and I'm glad you did. Like, I had a good time. Like, it made me want to play the other ones now. So that's saying something. I don't know if that will happen, but it made me want to play the 2 PSP ones now.
Oh, the PSP ones those are good too. The only bad God of War game is Ascension. And even then it's not bad, it's just boring.
I played that.
You have?
I played God of War 1 and I played God of War Ascension. That was it until last week.
Oh man. God of War Ascension was a big letdown for me personally.
Me too. I thought it was God of War 4 essentially. It was not.
Oh, no. It is okay. It's so aggressively mediocre that it's like it's functional and it works, but it's just it exists, you know. I do not envy that team having to follow up after 3. Like
No,
Had to
that's
be really
some
tough.
big shoes to fill. And that was part of my issue. I haven't played 3 yet. I'm hopefully this year, 2025, I will do 3, but no guarantees on that one. But hopefully.
Yeah, I was looking at the trophy list for 3 after 2. I was like, I could probably platinum this. I think it would be fun to do the PS3, playthrough, because I own that, and then I own the PS4 remaster they did. So
for 3, you mean?
yeah.
Okay. I was thinking 1 and 2 are on PS4, but they weren't remastered. Okay.
I don't know why they never did it.
Sony's weird.
Yeah.
If you would have put this on Steam, I would have bought it at some point for cheap enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, these would be fun Steam Deck games.
It was on Steam Deck for me.
Hey, that's cool.
I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it was on Steam Deck for me.
Were there any story moments that stood out to you in this game that you were just like, holy crap?
The Titan stood out for me, which we talked about. Nothing, I don't know. Not that I can remember now. It's been 2 weeks, so my brain is fuzzy on this one. No, not really. I had a good time though. I know that. I enjoyed myself. I beat the game in 2 days, as I talked about. But
yeah, it's a short game.
Nah, that's nice sometimes. It got me interested in the series where 1 was fine, but I wasn't that interested. But now I'm interested to see more eventually. And I kind of want to play the 2 PSP games because I also I bought all these multiple times on PS3 and just never got around to them. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I have the on PS3 I bought the 1 and 2 remaster, and then I bought the Origins collection, which had the PSP games, and then they came out with the God of War Saga, which was 3 discs and then a download codes for the 2 PSP games. So I sold God of War. I sold all of my God of War games on PS3 individually, because I was like, I just want the one case, that'll be nice. I
kept all of them. I have all 3 of them next to each other and God of War 3. So all four things. The PS3 dual pack, the PSP games and the PS3 dual pack, the complete collection, and God of War 3.
Yeah, I just wish I had kept the PSP one, because I kind of like those physical discs, but they're always installed on the good old PS3 where I don't delete them. So
anything else you want to mention about God of War 2? That stood out to you?
Yeah, the ending. Yeah, when I was in high school, I was like, oh my god, this game is going to keep going. And then it ends. And it's a nice setup for 3. But, I already fought Zeus, I feel like they kind of, threw that in as we need a boss battle to rival Ares in the first game.
Shouldn't have been Zeus, in my opinion, but I get it, so I can't complain too much.
Which Ares is in this game, by the way, because you go back in time and you're on the sword and you're fighting.
Oh, that was
Sister
Ares.
of Fate. Yeah, isn't that so cool?
I didn't really pay attention to that.
That blew my mind the first time I played through this game. I was like, God, that's so cool! Just going and fighting on that sword, and then I was like, I should play God of War 1 to see if Kratos is on that sword. And he's not. Spoiler alert. Yeah, of course not.
It's a time thing. Well, 1 and this game came out later. They weren't planning on that, but it's the idea that you're traveling through time.
It
was cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Game.
And I do want to ask. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I like to always have these in here. And what is your shelf stacker box?
This game would go. Oh, that's a difficult question, because I think of the shelf as these are the top 10 games.
That's your choice.
Yeah. You know what? I'll put it on the shelf. Because if someone was like, I need just a short action game on my PlayStation 2, and I would be like, the PS5 exists, brother, but God of War 2, you should go play.
All right. And stay tuned for the rest of the episode. And we should go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Joe, why don't you lead us in?
It's a really hard choice for this, because I did have a good time with it, but this game edged pretty well. I didn't have a lot of issues with it, but issues I feel are more issues with just it being a PS2 game and the emulator. But honestly, at the end of the day, it is still a pretty decent game. I think it probably holds up still well too. So I'll just go ahead and put it on the shelf.
Okay. And I'll go next. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. I had a good time with this game. I came into it with low expectations and really enjoyed myself. It was short. It was quick. I beat it in a couple days. I had a good time. And it got me interested to do more. So go on the shelf. And I'm really happy that I finally played it after all these years. And Sierra.
I would actually put it in the box, mostly because after playing it again, or because I'm actually going to probably play it one more time after this, where I actually play.
Box is the least liked, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to like literally just kind of not think about this one after a while because once I bring out 3 again, I'm just gonna play playing 3. But yeah,
Okay.
for me, it's a good one, just not my favorite out of the trilogy. So that's why I'm gonna put in the box because it's like the one I'll only take out not even every so often, just once, maybe every 2 years or so. So yeah, that's how I am with it.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to 3. Really am. We'll see. Maybe 2025. We'll see. I haven't written that schedule yet on purpose because if
Leaving
I
it
write the
open.
schedule too early like I did last year, I I can't change a whole lot. So I'm kind of trying to hold off on what I put on there and not put things on there that I might change my mind on.
Yeah, that you don't like. You like, never mind on this one. Don't want to have to change.
I still want to do it, but then if I make the list too early, I might not stuff that I wanted to do. I mean, I still want to do it, but I might not do things that change that my mind changes as the year gets later. So I'm trying not to do that this year because I already know a good chunk of games that I'm playing. Period. Next in 2025. So I'm just trying to not write too much at one time. So
Yeah.
I know a few that are already happening, and it's only 52 weeks. So you put so many games on schedule.
I still have to finish the last of the Uncharted so that I can do my podcast now. Because I remember saying that I had to get those ones going. Me and Mario had to go on that, and he still hasn't really played them. So
Sometimes it takes a bit to get into a game or want to play it. I get that. All right, I should introduce what we're talking about next week. Next week, you can hear us talk about Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. So that another PS2 game.
I'll be there.
You will be happily or not. I'm not sure, but you will be there.
I am.
You can hear us talk about that next week. And Sierra, where can people find you at?
you can find me on Bias Gamings, where I will be bullying my little prisoners. Hopefully, we will get more later on.
And if 150 other episodes of this podcast, you can find everything we do on Podbean. We do movies, comics, TV shows, video games, all sorts of content. I think go check out our giant catalog. If you want to support the show, we do have Patreon. Little dog vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 a month. Great way to support the show and affect the show. If you want to chat with us, we do have a Discord. If you want to be on the show, if you want to just lurk, that's fine. If you want to suggest things that I will someday get to, do that all in the Discord. And you'll see a link in every show note of this. If you want to hear the God of War 1, there will also be a link in the show notes to that too. So definitely go check that out. Intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Hastrick. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. Definitely go check her out. And look at Bill Tucker, Gamer Looks at 40. He's back finally. By the time you're hearing this, he should be back. Talking about Final Fantasy VII for 3 months, he said. So definitely go check out his podcast too. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, TikTok, rate and views over podcast. I think it's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Nora.